The moment my own sister looked at me with disgust and said, "Kick this homeless person out of here," something inside me cracked in a way I didn't even know was possible. Imagine standing in your own hotel lobby, the place you built from scratch, the place you poured every broken bone and sleepless night into, only to be told, by your own family, that you don't belong there. And the worst part, she had no idea it was me. She had no idea she was insulting the very person funding her extravagant $150,000 birthday party. The same brother who used to give her half of his meals when we were kids, just so she wouldn't cry. So tell me, before I even start, was I wrong for what I did next? Would you have held back, or would you have done exactly what I did? Because what happened that night changed my family forever, and maybe it changed me too. It all started months before that birthday. My name is Damien, and if you told me a few years ago that I would own a hotel, an actual luxury hotel, I would have laughed. I grew up poor, not struggling, not tight, budget no poor. The type of poor where you reuse tea bags, patch up socks with glue, and pretend to be full at dinner because your little sister needed the food more. My sister, her name is Camilla, always had a flair for drama, sparkles, and attention. Even when we were young, she wanted everything fancy. She would cry if her dress wasn't the princess dress, or if her birthday cake didn't have glitter. And somehow, as we grew up, that personality just intensified. My parents enabled her, always saying, "She's just a girl, let her enjoy." Meanwhile, I was the one working part-time at 14 because the electricity bill wasn't paying itself. Fast, forward to adulthood, and Camilla had become the ultimate high-maintenance diva. She married rich, divorced richer, and decided that life owed her constant luxury. I didn't mind her lifestyle. It was her life after all. What hurt was how little she valued anyone else, especially me. Somewhere along the way, she convinced herself that I was still the same broke, dusty, struggling older brother who worked odd jobs and fixed people's sinks. She had no idea how far I'd come. The truth is, after years of manual labor and saving every penny, I invested in a rundown property. Everyone thought I was insane. It was a decaying building that smelled like an old shipwreck and looked like it would collapse if a pigeon sneezed on it. But something told me it had potential. For 2 years, I rebuilt that place with my own hands, working while others slept, grinding while others partied, sacrificing everything. Eventually, investors noticed, and suddenly, that little wreck transformed into a luxury boutique hotel. My pride, my masterpiece, the one thing in life no one could take away from me, except no one in my family knew. Not because I wanted to hide it, but because whenever I tried talking about my life, Camilla would talk over me. My parents would brag about her new handbags or vacations, and after a while I just stopped trying. It became easier to let them assume I was still scraping by. They liked that version of me. It made them feel superior somehow. Then came the birthday, Camilla's legendary 32nd birthday. She wanted something extravagant, something unforgettable, something that would outshine all her friends' birthdays for the next decade. She told our parents she wanted a luxury hotel venue, something classy, modern, and expensive. So my mother called me and said, "Damien, can you help find a hotel? Ask around. Your sister deserves the best." Funny thing, she didn't ask if I had money or if I could afford it. To them, I was just the errand boy. I didn't argue. I simply said, "I'll handle it." I booked my own hotel, paid the full amount, upgraded the decorations, added the premium catering. Everything Camilla wanted, I delivered. But I didn't tell her, I didn't tell anyone. Sometimes silence is the most dramatic reveal. On the day of the event, I had been helping in the back. I wasn't dressed up. I wore simple jeans, a worn-out hoodie, and a cap because I'd been rushing around handling final details. At one point, I went to the lobby to check if the main entrance lights were set properly. That's when it happened. Camilla walked in like she owned the universe, wearing a sparkling gold dress that probably cost more than my first apartment. Her friends trailed behind her like she was some kind of celebrity. She held her chin high, sunglasses on even though it was nighttime, and the moment she saw me standing there near the front desk, she stopped. She squinted at me like I was a stain on her expensive carpet. Her voice was sharp enough to cut glass. "Who let a homeless person walk around here?" I froze. Her friends burst into laughter. She looked at the manager, my manager, and said, "Get him out before he ruins the pictures." I swear I could hear my heart physically cracking. My manager glanced at me, confused. He whispered, "Sir," but she cut him off. "Get rid of him, he smells poor." That line burned in my chest like acid. She didn't even recognize her own brother. Not by face, not by voice, nothing. That's how far removed she'd become. To her, any man in casual clothes was beneath her. For a moment I thought about just walking away, just disappearing, but then something inside me shifted. Why should I stay quiet? Why should I let her humiliate me in my own building? She had pushed me my entire life, looked down on me my entire life, and this was the final straw. But before I reacted, I wanted to understand just how deep her arrogance went. So I said, "Ma'am, I work here." My voice was low, trying not to erupt. She rolled her eyes dramatically. "Obviously, now go mop something, and after this, tell your boss he needs a better-looking staff." That one actually made her friends clutch their stomachs from laughing. And that's when I knew she deserved whatever was coming next. I stepped back and simply said, "Yes, ma'am," and walked toward the staff area, not because she told me to, but because I needed a moment to breathe and think, because what I was planning was going to be unforgettable. But before I tell you the next part, tell me honestly, what would you have done in my place? Would you have exploded right then and there? Would you have kicked her out instantly? Or would you have stayed quiet and waited for the perfect moment? Because that's exactly the crossroads I was standing at. And trust me, the path I chose changed everything. Comment below what you would have done before you hear what I actually did. When I stepped back into the main hall, the party had started. Music blasting, guests arriving, waiters running around, lights glowing. It was beautiful. My staff had truly outdone themselves. The birthday setup looked like something straight out of a celebrity magazine. And Camilla, she was loving every second. She stood on the central stage with a champagne glass and loudly bragged to everyone about how she only celebrates in the finest hotels. She kept saying her friend arranged this place for her. Not brother, not family, friend. I guess that hurt too. My parents eventually arrived. My mom saw me and said, "Damien, why are you here? You're not working tonight, are you? Don't embarrass us." My father just sighed. "You should have worn something nicer. Not even a hello, not even a question about how I was doing. Just disappointment, even though everything around them existed because of me, but I stayed calm. Because revenge tastes better when served cold and expensive." Halfway through the event, Camilla demanded a grand entrance moment for her cake. The cake that cost over $2,000 and had edible gold flakes like she was planning to eat her ego along with it. She wanted all lights dimmed, the music lowered, and the spotlight centered. I walked to the control booth myself. If she wanted a show, I'd give her one. The lights dimmed, music softened. Everyone gathered with their phones out. Camilla stood dramatically at the front, waiting for her big moment. She gestured to my staff like she was royalty. Then I turned on the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," I said, "before we bring out the cake, the owner of this hotel would like to say a few words." Camilla flipped her hair and whispered loudly, "Ugh, who cares? Just bring out the cake." Her friends giggled. Everyone else looked around, curious. I walked out from the booth and toward the center. Camilla rolled her eyes as I stepped up onto the stage. "What is he doing?" she snapped. Can someone remove the janitor? I took off my cap, took off my hoodie. The room went quiet. Camilla, I said calmly, the janitor you tried to kick out is your brother, me, Damien, and the hotel you're standing in. The hotel you called perfect, the one you bragged about, it's mine. For a moment she just stared, confused, like her brain couldn't process the information. Her friend's jaws dropped. My parents froze, then Camilla laughed nervously. No, you're lying. You can't even afford decent shoes. I smiled. Check the ownership certificate at the counter. My name is on it, and every staff member you barked at tonight, they work for me. People started whispering. Some filming, some gasping. My manager even stepped forward with a respectful nod toward me. Camilla's face drained of color. Then I said the words I had been holding inside my chest all night. And now, since you wanted this homeless man kicked out, let's finish your request. I signaled to my security team. Escort Ms. Camilla out of the building. She is no longer welcome in my hotel. Her scream echoed through the hall. Damien, you can't do this. It's my birthday. Security gently but firmly grabbed her arms. Her friends backed away from her like she was contagious. She kicked her heels, crying, Mom, Dad, do something. My dad just rubbed his temple and said, Camilla, stop making a scene. My mom was speechless, unable to defend her. As they dragged her out, she kept shouting, You're poor, you're nobody, you can't own a hotel. Her voice faded as the doors closed behind her. Silence filled the hall. Then I turned to the guests and said, Cake will be served outside. People burst into awkward claps. Some laughed, some admired me. Mostly, people just looked relieved the drama was gone. My parents followed me backstage, demanding explanations. Why didn't I tell them earlier? Why wasn't I dressed properly? How dare I embarrass Camilla? I simply said, for once, she needed to face consequences. My dad muttered something about family pride. My mom cried that I ruined the night, but I didn't feel guilt. Not even a little, because for the first time in my life, I didn't let them treat me like I was less. In the following days, Camilla tried calling me dozens of times. I didn't answer. She even came to the hotel once, but the staff denied her entry. Eventually, she sent a long message apologizing, saying she didn't mean it, that she thought I was a random worker, that she was stressed. She begged me to forgive her. I didn't respond, not because I hated her, but because some wounds take longer to close. Funny enough, my parents began treating me differently after that, more respectfully, more carefully. Maybe because they realized how wrong they'd been. Or maybe because they finally saw that I wasn't the loser they had imagined. As for me, I learned that sometimes, letting people believe you're nothing makes the reveal 10 times sweeter. So, in the end, was I wrong? Should I have forgiven her on the spot? Should I have let the humiliation slide? Or did she deserve everything that happened?